So class 10, now let's finish the poem The Patriot, right? In the last paragraph we've read that there's he was taken to the gallows. There was nobody on the housetop now. Clear? The people were assembled at the shambles gate, and some of them even at the scaffold to have a better view of his hanging. Oh, so let's see, fifth paragraph. I go in the rain and more than need. A rope cuts both my wrists behind, and I think, by the feel, my forehead bleeds. For they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my ears misdeed. Now see children, you will find the contrast between the very first paragraph and the fifth paragraph. Clear? See what he's saying. I go in rain and more than needs. Clear? The patriot, he walks in rain, heading towards the gallows, and more than need, a rope cuts both my wrists behind. Clear? It was raining. The patriot walks in rain, heading towards the gallows. His wrists are tied tightly behind his back, more than it was needed. Clear? His wrists were tied tightly behind his back with a rope that cuts through his skin. Clear? Now see, in the very first paragraph, he was welcomed with roses and marlet, and now he was taken to the rain. And I think, by the feel, my forehead bleeds, for they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my ears mid-deed. And I think, by my feel, my forehead bleeds. And the speaker, the patriot, feels that his forehead was bleeding. He feels his forehead bleeding. And why does it happen? For they fling means throw. For they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my ears misdeed. And this bleeding is due to the stone that was hurled at him, that was thrown at him by some cruel and ungrateful fellows. Fine? And why they have done so? They had done this to show their anger for the so-called misdeed done by him during a year. Fine? So children, we can find it's an extremely pitiable scene, and it is in direct contrast with the imagery of the first and second stanza. And one more thing, that we are not told about the misdeed, what were the wrongdoings of the patriot. The past is kept vague, not clear. Fine, but this shows the fickle-mindedness of people. Clear? The people completely forgotten his good deeds, and today he is walking in disgrace, devoid of sympathy. Got it? And children, one more thing I wanna tell you, that he said I go in rain. Here rain implies many things. The rain implies the disgraceful situation of the patriot. Clear? How disgracefully he has been taken now. Earlier he was welcomed, but now in a very disgraceful way, in a rain, he was taken to the gallows. Got it? Then rain, in a way, it can also, it adds to the depressed mood, right? Or it symbolizes a number of things, as I told you. The patriot gets wet by rain, losing all his dignity. Okay? And rain can also be viewed, it can also be viewed in a way that the rain washes him clean, representing his innocence. Right? So rain. So here pathetic fallacy has been used. Thus I now let's see the sixth paragraph. Thus I entered, thus I go. Entrance, people have dropped down dead, paid by the world. What does thou owe me? God might question, now instead, this God shall repay, I am safer so. Fine. So, thus I entered, thus I go. The Patriot is moving, heading towards the gallows in the rain, with his hands tied behind his back. Clear? He had entered the city with great pride a year ago. Thus I entered, thus I go. He has entered the city with a great pride a year ago. He was hero worshipped. People worshipped him. They praised him. Clear? And the people accorded him a warm welcome. People gave him a warm welcome. And thus I go. And now he is walking through the same street, but in humiliation, as a convict. Clear? In triumph, people have dropped down dead, paid by the world. What does thou owe me? In triumph, triumph means victory. Clear? The speaker believes that in victory, people drop down dead, but his imperfection will bring him closer to God. Clear? The triumphant hero, the victorious hero, has fallen now. Right? Because he is walking in the same street in humiliation. And the speaker feels that if he had died a year ago, because he believes that in victory people drop down dead. Clear? He feels as if he had died a year ago. What is this? The one may also collapse in the excess of joy. Fine. Now, what dost thou owe me? God might ask. He would not have owed anything to God. Clear? God might question. Now, instead, God shall repay. I am safer so. And the Patriot hopes, he believes, that since he did not receive his reward in this world, clear, paid by the world has not given him any reward. He has not got any reward from his countrymen. Clear? So the Patriot, God might question. Now instead, the God shall repay. I am safer so. The Patriot feels optimistic that he will be rewarded by God in heaven. He feels safe when he will be in the lap of God. So children, this poem, it ends in a very optimistic way. The Patriot has not got any reward of his deeds in this world, but he is sure that after death he will be rewarded by God. Clear? His real repayment will be done by God, because he believes that the Almighty, the God, is just and fair, and that's why he said, I am safer so. He is safe with him, as he will not have to face any more undeserving punishments. He will be justly rewarded for his deeds. Clear? So we can see that the poem ends optimistically, and this last line shows the optimistic philosophy of life of the poet, but there's an element of irony also. Irony क्या होता है? This is a contradict situation. Clear? So what is the irony over here? The poem also ends in an ironic tone. The poem has an ironic tone. What is an irony? The irony is that the people who had in the beginning welcomed the Patriot with flowers, clear, were the same one who hurled stones at him after a year. The people who were throwing roses on his way, after a year they were throwing stones on him. So this shows the irony. And And earlier, the people who were shouting, who were appreciating him, who were shouting and on his at his praise, clear, who welcomed him, were climbing on the rooftops. But after a year, when he was taken to the gallows, the roofs were empty, clear, and the people who were earlier ready to worship him are now cheering at his execution. Fine. And the poet, the patriot who is going to die, he feels safer in the hands of death. So we can say that the poem is having an ironic tone. Fine. So, children, just revise this poem carefully. I'll send you the question answers in WhatsApp. Thank you.